I'm originally from Miami. I left for college. I went to Philadelphia. I went to school for dance. After that, I danced professionally for a while. I danced in Philadelphia and then San Francisco. After San Francisco, I moved to New York for graduate school for movement therapy. I then moved to New York after that, and I worked in a school that was run by the Department of Education. It's called an SOS program. So my site had the most egregious offenders. So kids that were in gangs, stabbings and shootings, and were suspended from school for a year. What they did was they had therapy and school at the same time. So I was a movement therapist. It's the same line as a mental health counselor. I had a caseload of 30 kids, and they would meet with me for therapy, and we would also move and dance, and it formed a really nice connection. In 2007, I got my teaching degree from Bhakti, a yoga studio, and then shortly thereafter I moved back to Miami. When I moved back to Miami, my line wasn't recognized, movement therapy wasn't recognized, but I could be a school counselor. So I went to Lehrman Day School and I was a school counselor there. However, the land of private school versus egregious offenders was vastly different. And I found my path led me more to just doing yoga. So I left school counseling and I just followed teaching yoga. So that was in 2007. And it was a really nice combination having a therapy background and being able to pair that with the yoga practice. I would say the answer to this question is more what's unique about our yoga studio in Miami. Because where I was raised in yoga was New York. And I find that my practice in Miami is most akin to that was in New York, which means we take different limbs of the yoga practice. There's 8 limbs to the yoga practice. It's not just the physical practice, which is what most people, I believe, in Miami think, that it's just the physical side of it. It's just the asanas, the poses, and it's not. That's 1 out of 8 limbs. There's 7 more limbs. So at Ahana, we really go into depth with the other 8 limbs, which is studying and learning about the philosophy of yoga. So every class we bring in a topic with a philosophy from the yoga practice, one of the major books. We weave that into the class. So it's a cardio class. You get sweaty, you burn calories, bikini body ready, but also intellectual mind stimulated. So the idea is when people leave, the conversations can be elevated. Our yoga studio, Ahana, is in the design district. It's called Ahana Yoga. It means the first light of day. The reason we picked the design district is an interesting story. The owner of the design district, the visionary of the whole district, is my yoga student. His name is Craig Robbins. He was my yoga student 2 years before opening, and he was also my mentor. At one particular point in my life, I got approached by several different people to open up the yoga studio in different places, and I didn't have any experience with the business side, and he would give me advice. And then in one of our classes, in the middle of class, he said, "Why don't you just open up in the district?" And I wanted to give him the best class because he was paying for it, and I didn't want to distract him with my own needs, but it was exciting. And I said, I don't know if I can do it. It's the design district. There's Hermes, there's Gucci, and then there's, and he said, we'll help you. So the whole design district and their whole team lent themselves to me to help walk me through the process of opening up my own business. And he really wanted the yoga practice to remain authentic. He didn't want me, he knew I was a mom. I am a mom of 2 kids. And at that point, I had actually taught him all through my pregnancy with my daughter. And at that point, I had just had my daughter, and he didn't want to to stress me out. He didn't want me to be stressed out about business. So it was a really beautiful way to open up Ahana. That was almost 6 years ago. Our first studio was right on First, so it had really good window exposure right in front of Jungle Plaza. But the practicing space is about 900 square feet. The whole space in itself was 1,300 square feet. The practice studio was 900 square feet. Then COVID happened and the whole world got turned upside down. And we started doing yoga outside all over the design district, and we started getting a lot of people. There was a lot of people that would come to yoga. At that point in time, it was also Black Lives Matter, and Black Lives Matter hit the yoga community really hard. One wouldn't realize that or might not realize that. And I did a lot of thinking about why the demographic is so white woman, upper middle class. And why aren't there more people of color, different ethnicities coming to a yoga class? So I played with the price of a yoga model. Like I played with the market, and I landed at $85 for an unlimited month, and that really was able to bring in a lot more people, a lot of different socioeconomic backgrounds, and it made the class a lot richer and a lot fuller. And so then at that point we were moving back inside, and I went to Craig and I said, I don't know how I'm going to fit. Like, we were getting like 70 people in a class outside. I don't know how we're going to bring that inside. And so we found a space in the district that was kind of like a storage space. And now we're here, and it's 3,700 square feet, and we built it out. And so this is our new home now in the district, and we're almost closing out our first year at our new location in the district. Yes, there were a lot of aha moments during the pandemic. I think not just for me, but I think the world at large. What happened was we were the only thing going on in town that was community-based. So it brought in a lot of people that perhaps weren't doing yoga before. We also did these spurts of having free classes, and it would bring a lot of people in that I think perhaps wouldn't have done yoga before. And they got so much out of the yoga practice. It made them feel held and loved and supported and seen. I mean, during the pandemic, there was no energy exchange, right? We were behind like a Zoom lens, and there was no people near us. And so I think during the pandemic, it brought in all people that weren't going to necessarily take a yoga class, that might have perhaps gone to the gym. But because we were offering an outdoor experience, it lent to more people coming into Ahana. A typical yoga class at Ahana is a little different than other yoga classes because if you take my class, not all of the teachers, we bring in the harmonium, which is a piano that sits on the floor. It has a bellow. It kind of sounds like an accordion. It has this really deep resonance. And all of the teachers pretty much do Om with the harmonium. Our class has a strong spiritual component. It's secular, so any religion can come and feel comfortable, but it has we call it bhakti in yoga. It means devotion. So the space feels really rich and yummy. And so we sing a little bit in the beginning of class, Om. If you come to my class, you sing a little bit more, like 3 minutes, don't be nervous. And then we do a yoga practice that's very strongly tied to the Ashtanga lineage. So it has a lot of soul and lineage and classical training within it. It's not pop yoga. There's Sanskrit terms that are used for the poses. And so it's a 60-minute class. The last 10 minutes, Shavasana, you rest, and then you leave, and you feel 10 years younger, fitter, stronger, and can't wait to come the next day. It's funny because as a mom, I have my dream of what my typical day will be, which can always be uprooted based on my family. Because before I had kids, I really had it typical day. But since I have kids, it could change. However, my typical day, I wake up, begrudgingly, I'm not a morning person, to two big, huge, furry dogs. And then I do my yoga practice, which is an hour to an hour and a half. I don't eat anything until 1 o'clock. So it's just black coffee. I started this after my second child, when I couldn't lose the extra 7-8 pounds. It's brutal, not gonna lie. I love a café con leche with a lot of sugar and milk, but recently I'm lactose intolerant, gluten intolerant, and all of these things as you get older tend to wear on your body. The inflammation is a real thing. So I take all of that seriously, not so happily, but seriously. I'll have a smoothie around 1 with some protein powder in it. During this time, from the yoga class to the smoothie, I also work. I put out, fires at work. I answer emails. I do travel to teach yoga. I do have some private clients, and I run a full business with 30 employees. So I'm taking care of all of that. And then I have my smoothie. And after my smoothie, it's generally around the time to pick up my kids. So I'll nail a few emails, a few calls, and then I'll go and pick up my kids from school, which is around 3. Both my kids have a full after school life, but it requires a lot of me because they're little. One is 7, the other's 13, and they're little in my heart. So I'll take one to boxing, and the other one is kind of like a mini-me. She does sometimes contortion, she does a lot of soccer, she loves to dance, and she loves to follow me to yoga class. So that's really awesome that I'm blessed with a little one that loves to sing. I mean, I think she's gonna be the next yoga superstar. After all of that, oh, and I do cook dinner. That's always a disaster. That is like that's tough. It's I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's air fried chicken nuggets. That's definitely a staple for my kids. And then whatever I can throw together for my husband and I. On the better days, it might be picadillo with rice, arroz, or it's taco night. And then I love to watch Netflix. That kills me. But if I could get in a series and a half, because I can turn it off after the half of the second series because it's not like a cliffhanger. Put the kids to bed, snuggle them hard, and then go to sleep. Brush my teeth. Oh, and my face. Biosense, the best face cleaner. I don't do a lot of upkeep. I don't wear moisturizer and all that stuff. Thankfully, my mom just passed. She's Colombian and she gave me the olive skin, so I'm good in that regard. I just wash my face, honestly, twice in the morning and at night, and I brush my teeth. I'm like a dude in that way. And that's my beauty regimen. I feel like I have fun at work. I love my job, and I love my kids, and I love my husband, so that's all really awesome. We don't really have much of a nightlife because we're exhausted by then, but what we do for fun is wake surf. That's our family fun, awesome thing. We have a boat that you have to wakeboard on. It's not as fancy as a wake surfboard, but my real fun is when we get to hire somebody and go on a proper wake surf boat and wake surf. That's fun. We are in the design district, so we have a plethora of opportunities. Michael's Genuine is one of my favorite restaurants. A fun fact is that was kind of my first job was at Michael. Well, it was Nemo back 1,000 years ago. I had no fine dining experience, and I walked in, and Miles Shevitz, who now owns Prime 112, was like, "She's cute, we should hire her." So I have a connection with them, with Michael Schwartz now, who owns Michael's Genuine in the Design District. Of course I go to Sephora. Of course I go to Pura Vida, which is right around the corner, get myself a little wrap. And what else do I do in the area? My hairdresser, Nati, she's at, what's it called? These loft spaces. I'll send you a link so you can check her out. And then I just got my eyebrows done, this powder brow stuff, and they're also, it's 15th and something. That's awesome. And then, what else is there? That's about it, I think. So we have our 1 year anniversary in this location. So it'll be our 6th year in the design district, but our 1 year in July. Keep your eyes peeled for that because we're gonna have this really hot DJ. He's also our yoga student. He's this famous international DJ. He's gonna be DJing, we're gonna be teaching, it's gonna be super fun. Then I'm launching a new retreat relationship with a hotel branch called the Auberge. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're insane. So we're gonna do our first launch with them in Costa Rica, so I'm super excited for that. Oh, and also in May, no, we're in May. In the middle of April, we are also launching our partnership with the W Hotel in South Beach. So we're going to have Ahana powered yoga classes in the W, which is a more luxe experience. They're gonna be smaller classes, more hands-on, more of an elevated experience than you're used to at Ahana. Ahana here, it's a little bit more gritty, there's more people, it's in the thick of things. At the W, it's a little bit more refined, the spa is beautiful, everything smells nice, it's super nice, and there's gonna be only like 10 students in that class. So that's really fun, and that's in the middle of April. So if you live on the beach, we're gonna be giving yoga classes at the W starting in the middle of April, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So you can catch one of our teachers in the morning there.